The PL Show is brought to you by Roma Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil.
Hello there, you're welcome to the Phenomenal Lady Show. My name is Keminni. Amanor. As we have done in past episodes, we will highlight the successes of some phenomenal women we've come across in the country and beyond. Today, we'll be talking to two lifestyle experts. Not only would we know how they have survived in the lifestyle industry, but we'll also find out about how they have grown over the years. We'll find out about their personal lives as well. I know that's got your interest peaked. This show is brought to you by Roma Mosquito Spray and Coil in Tuntum Master, Feco Spray Starch, Look Sharp. I'm styled by Lifestyle Harmattan. We'll be meeting their CEO in a bit. We are filming here at the Labadi Beach Hotel, and our centerpiece is by Think Emmy's Interior Decor. This is the PL Show. We'll be right back.
Should you rumor to me?
Tonton Master, a baby Jumanamo. She's so madahati. Roma Insecticide Spray at Roma. Entafre, Entatia, make a cheha. No way! Yamikuno, and Tonton Bako Crown Fanamo, and also a pussy. Roma Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil. And out there we a show. Roma and Coil!
Roma and Tonton Master.
Wow! My uniform looks different.
Feco Spray Starch, Majimo Point. Actually, pause. When you want to remember Namunto the morning, I feel your spray starch, Papa. On Japaticus be water, no wrinkles, smooth ironing.
Yes, Papa. Feco Spray Starch. Me here perfume.
Also, yes, guy.
Feco Spray Starch.
Look sharp.
Look sharp. Look sharp.
Fashion is actually a lifestyle, and that is why I'm not restricted to the appearances of people. You need to love your body with all its imperfections. If you don't feel great about yourself, you will walk about and nobody would notice you.
Right, Miss Nancy, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long while.
Of course, darling.
I only see you on Duvet.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, powerful show, isn't it?
How? We're trying to put some warmth into the homes of people. Under the duvet should always be warm and loving.
Absolutely. And you know, anytime Duvet is on, I go online and check. I'm like, nobody likes to listen to the news. Everybody wants to talk about their relationships and how to spice their relationship up.
In fact, it's not relationship, it's sex. Are you afraid to say sex?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, but you have one beautiful evidence of all that you've been
yes,
doing.
yes, indeed, I do. And what's been the response like for Duvet?
Awesome. It's amazing. It's actually very gratifying that something that a lot of people would shy away from, God has given us the confidence and the wisdom to give out information that will make the love lives and the married bed better. I believe that marriage is a beautiful thing that God has given. Sex is awesome. Sex is healthy. So why don't we make people understand this and make the best out of sex?
Somebody give me an amen.
Amen.
I'm sure that the talk of Duvet has got a lot of people listening. But let's shelve Duvet for a bit. There's more to you than just Duvet.
Of course.
You've started with radio back in Kumasi. Tell us about your radio experience.
So I'm an sacrum girl. I used to be, you know, at the points there was this communication center thing that came. So I had a cousin that owned the comm center. And then I was like, okay, says, just let me come and sit there and pick the phone and say hello to people, receive the calls and make the calls for you. And I used to have some people calling in to the shop asking to speak to other people because mobile phones were not available at the time. And one person just said, you have a great voice. I said, thank you. Says, I'll come to the shop and I'll look for you. And I was so happy. Thank you.
The power of the comm centers. I have a very similar story, but thankfully it's not my story to share right now. So let's focus on you. So from then,
So somebody discovered me in a com center that I had a great voice behind the telephone and it could be transferred. So he asked me if I'm interested in being on radio. I said that would be nice.
Had you ever thought about being on radio?
No, it was actually my big sister who wanted to be a TV person and I wanted to be a nurse.
Oh.
And interestingly, it turned around.
But it was by chance. How did you get your first radio experience? Which radio station?
It was Invisible FM then. Now I think it's one of the multimedia brands in Kumasi.
Right.
Yes, and another client, it was a com center and a barbering shop. So another guy came there, his name is Prince Kofi, he's in London at the moment, and he said I had a great voice. And at the time, Fremashka and all, Frema Edrunyame and everybody was there too. So he said, oh, they have a late night talk show. Can I talk about love? And madam, I had been reading the Mills and Boons and all, Daniel Steele, Jackie Collins. So I had a lot of imagination, even though I lacked experience. And I think I'm well spoken to an extent. So they put me on radio for the first time and the CEO heard my voice, says, what a lovely little girl, I want to meet her. He asked me what I wanted to do. I said, okay, then I'd want to do this. Says, I'll put you in school, I'll pay for your school fees as you work for me. When you are done with school for 3 years, you work for me for 2 more years, and then you can go wherever you are. But after I think 2.5 years, he had to let go of the station. So I had to find my way to another station.
I see. So what was your first topic you discussed on that love show?
Oh,
do you
my
remember?
goodness, I wouldn't remember, but I know it was a late night. It was a late night talk show, so no wonder I'm now doing late night on television. It's always been something that I've been doing. Unfortunately, along the line, I had somebody I really cared about and respected who thought I was too young to talk about love and sex on radio.
How old were you at that time?
I was so young, Keminni. I was so young, like 21 maximum.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and at that time that was young. At the
time, yes, that was very young to be talking about love and marriage and dating. So I was kind of discouraged.
What do you know?
What do you know? You know, I was kind of discouraged. So along the line, I wasn't interested in the late night talk shows again. And here I am, not just talking about love, I'm actually talking about sex.
Yes, sex. Before you came to Accra, you were your big girl. Before you came to Accra, didn't make you.
No.
That's the best part of it.
But it was, Accra has added on amazing things to my career, and I'm so grateful to Accra. Accra has been warm. Accra has been a blessing. I mean, not just that I moved here, I had my daughter in Accra.
Oh, yes.
That's a major thing to do, a major thing for a woman to have a child. And it was actually a marriage that brought me to Accra.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard that somewhere. Okay, so then marriage brought you to Accra.
Yeah.
Let's talk about marriage.
Keminni, the most important thing is that I was so Kumasi-ish. To a certain extent, I was so satisfied with my life in Kumasi. I doubt if there was anything that was going to bring me to Accra. And at the time, I had a sick mother. So psychologically, I thought it would be unkind for me to leave my sick mother all in Kumasi by herself, because my 2 other sisters were all in Accra. So I thought I was going to stay in, be with my mother, let her enjoy my company. And then I also had a good job, so why not?
But then you met someone who stole your hat.
Did he steal my hat?
Okay, you gave it to him.
Probably my life. I mean, when you marry people, you usually give them your life. But I doubt if he took my hat, because it's still right here intact. Fine, even though he's not with us anymore.
Right. So what happened to that marriage?
It didn't work out. I mean, it was, I think, one of the shortest marriages possible.
How long was it for?
Keminni, I can confidently tell you that by a year, the marriage was dissolved.
Why?
At the first anniversary. You know, there are things that happen and you really, I think there was a bit of deceit, I mean, yes, in there. I wouldn't want to go into the details of it. But trust you me, if I ever get rich, I'd want to thank my ex-husband for bringing me to Accra.
Because Accra has been
If
a blessing.
not for him, I would still have been in Kumasi. And I think I love Accra. I love the impacts that God through me is made, and I live a very fulfilled life. I have my daughter, not with him though. My daughter is not with my ex-husband. I mean, my daughter is my personal daughter, my real daughter.
She's your personal daughter?
Yes.
By a donor?
Did I say that?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, she has a father,
Uh-huh.
a fine gentleman.
A fine gentleman.
Yes.
But the breakup of the marriage must have been hard on you.
It was, but it was. It wasn't my heart that was broken or anything. I think that sometimes we do care too much about what people will say. The challenge was that the marriage didn't work. Am I going to go back to Kumasi? And what is everybody going to say?
Yes.
Keminni, let me share the story with you. Can you believe that on my first anniversary, a friend that I wasn't on talking terms with sent me a message, shame on you. You couldn't stay in just one marriage for a year. Today is your wedding anniversary.
What?
I luckily for me, I was with my big sister, and she said, you cannot let this bring you down.
Did you cry when you got that message?
I was shocked.
Because you were being shamed.
Because I had forgotten my wedding anniversary, because I had chosen to forget my misery. And somebody made it her business to remind me of it.
Was it so easy forgetting? How did you overcome the challenges of the breakup?
I think that one of the worst things a woman can do is to be in a horrible situation like a breakup or a divorce and be idle.
Right.
First, my family, they were good. They sent me out on a vacation to Switzerland. And when I came back, I was lucky. TV3 engaged me with Ghana's Most Beautiful 2014, where I was the personal groomer. And so I lived in the house with the girls. I was part of the whole thing, working with a great team. I was too busy to stay indoors crying. And so whilst people were thinking about the fact that my marriage didn't work, I was partying with the girls on television. So that opportunity kind of turned my sorrows into joy. When I was supposed to be embarrassed, I had something better to offer the people that were looking at my life. I think God comes through for me at the best times.
What do you do for yourself? Because for many other young women who are watching you and maybe going through something similar or even sitting in something similar, they would want to know how to, work it out. Beyond keeping yourself busy, what was the psychological makeup that you had at that other moment?
I think that the going away did me a lot of good. Not being around people who would remind me of my misery or would ask me questions was very good. I had a time to actually think that, okay, I'm going to get out of this and I'll survive it and I'll be fine. And when I went abroad, I dedicated like a week. I was in bed, just eating, sleeping and thinking. And after 1 week, I said, do not kill yourself, my dear. Where is your red lipstick? So I got on my red lipstick and my Chanel shades and my red coat. And I got to town. And everybody was like, hey, the Ghanaians I met, they were happy to see me in Geneva. And I said, I will not die. Life is beyond marriage.
So indeed it is. So two things that I realized come to you naturally. Radio and then, grooming. Yes. Which you started in Kumasi. You did some work here in Accra as well. But you also studied for it in spite of how natural it came to you. Yes. Let's talk about your training, your style coach training.
Yes, so I went to the Style Coaching Institute in the UK. You commence the course online and you come for live tutorials in the UK. And then afterwards, there is a group. We have the International Style Coaches Association, women from America, from England, all over the world, Asia. They are all part of it. So my group, my team, the ladies, we are all together. We have a social media platform where we share how we're doing. And every month they send us information to update our knowledge. I think it was a very transforming information. I didn't just go to study to have a career. It was transforming for me too. So I was going through challenges at the time, but it looks like every decision I made me a better person and got me out of my frustrations and misery. And that's how come I didn't get depressed.
Well, I'm sure you've enjoyed the conversation I've had so far with the only style coach in Ghana, Miss Nancy. She's also host of Duvet on GH1 television. When we come back here on the Phenomenal Lady Show, we'll meet another lifestyle expert, CEO of Lifestyle Harmattan, Immaculata Eresi Labi. At the latter part of the program, we'll talk about how to look good for yourself. You want to stay with us. The PL Show is brought to you by Roma Mosquito Spray and Coil. The mosquito coil is smokeless It kills and repels mosquitoes effectively and leaves your room fresh all night long. You deserve the best, so go for Roma insecticide spray and mosquito coil anytime. We are also supported by Feco Spray Starch. Do you have difficulties with spray starches in your home? I've got good news for you. Get Feco Spray Starch and look sharp. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Shady Roma to me.
Tonton Master, a baby Jumanamo. She's so madahati. Roma insecticide spray at Roma. Entafre, entatia, make a cheha. No way! Yumikuno, and Tonton Bako crown fanimo. And also a pussy. Roma insecticide spray and mosquito coil. And out there we a show. Roma and
Roma and Tonton Master.
Yena. Maketiano, why are you?
Oh! Tum preco, sasso, mwa sasso.
Papa, oh, you sasso. Sasso.
Yes, sasso. Madame, sasso. What?
Sasso. A more beyond that, sasso. A cum tum, ni mwa sasso, cum tum preco.
She's fast becoming a fashion powerhouse. But wait a minute. How does someone make such a steep jump from reading psychology and social work in university to a fashion brand? Our guest today is the CEO and creative director of Harmattan, a lifestyle brand, Immaculata Eresi Labi.
So you've met her. My next guest is Immaculata Eresi Labi. She is the CEO and creative director for Lifestyle Harmattan. You just saw her profile, but she'll tell us a bit more about herself. You're welcome to the show, Immaculata. They call you Ima, so I can call you Ima too.
Yes, you can call
Absolutely. Right, so you studied psychology and social work, but you ended up a fashion designer, creative director for your own company. What's the story there?
Okay, so after school, I had to do some modeling jobs, and sometimes working on the runway, I'll think to myself, because one time there was an apparel I wore for Jean Today. I work with him actually, and when I saw the apparel, I said, oh, I could do this. So I just thought, this is not a Kaba and Slay story, because then it was a Kaba and Slay story most of it. So my first piece we created was a skirt, a short skirt, but it was a gathered skirt. Yes, so that actually got me interested to bring out more pieces and collect.
Did you create it for yourself, or you created in bulk to sell?
I did create it for myself, and then my friends loved it, so I produced more of it and then sold it to them.
I see. So how many pieces did you sell on your first try?
I wouldn't remember.
You don't remember?
No,
but what did you do with the money? Do you remember?
I spent it because then I was almost done with school at the university. So when I did the first piece and I sold it, I used it. Then I got a platform for a show. I mean, to be on the show. Then we had the Be Bold show, which was done with Christy Brown then and Vanessa. So there was like where I had to get serious, because that it was an upliftment for the brand. So that I would say was like my first big show.
Right. So how long had the brand existed before your first big show?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yes.
But the brand did not originate in Ghana.
No.
You started from Côte d'Ivoire.
When I was in school, I used to go to Côte d'Ivoire a lot. I was traveling. So when I saw the aesthetics of how the pieces were, they were very different from what we were wearing in Ghana. And I thought, okay, I love these. I love the print as well. So I started the clothing line from there. And I had it even after school. I was still in Côte d'Ivoire, going, coming back in, sometimes when I have service. And my very good friend actually used to take care of the store whilst I'm in Ghana.
Okay, so
yes.
Are you still in Côte d'Ivoire?
Not very often.
You
now.
packed up and left?
Yes,
Why?
I packed up and because then now I actually had to be here, stationed here in Ghana, and also sell to outlets in South Africa and in Atlanta. So I basically had to have my point here, which is where I lived. so it's easier, you know, working from here to the other regions.
Let's talk about when you were in school, and you know, your parents were looking forward to you being a clinical psychologist, a child psychologist, or maybe an industrial psychologist.
A child psychologist.
Child psychologist.
Yeah.
And then you ended up giving them children, all right, but you didn't become a psychologist. You became a fashionista.
A fashion designer.
Right, right. How did they take that?
My father wasn't in favor of that. I think now he's adjusted because he thought that, okay, she's successful on her own. She's okay. My money doesn't need to be here now. But my father always wanted me to be a diplomat.
Right.
And he would say, I make a fine lawyer and a diplomat. So he got me to start at the Foreign Affairs, which was my national service. And then after that, I didn't like the work because it wasn't where I wanted to go. Because whilst working there, I had my brand. They were working from the store. And then I used to do a few modeling
Where
jobs.
was the store?
Then it was in Achimota.
You had rented?
Yes.
Then you had a lot of money from the beginning.
I didn't have a lot of money.
So how did you rent?
This is what happened. When I finished school and then I did the Be Bold show, which was my first fashion show, I had good response because then BBC even covered me for DSTV Africa. And I needed an outlet to sell from in Ghana, more especially. So then I didn't have money because I had set up in Côte d'Ivoire. And to set up here too was another problem. So I pushing money. My dad wasn't in support, so I definitely wasn't going to get money from my dad. So now I was driving my 4-wheel there and I said, okay.
Oh, then you had a lot of money.
I didn't have a lot of money.
Which year was this?
I didn't. This was 2010, but I didn't have a lot of money.
Was it your dad's 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, it was my family. It wasn't like I bought it, no.
Oh,
but then because it was given to me, I had the permission to say, okay, sell it and then use the money for something. And even the story I told my mom is that, look, when I sell it and I use the money, I'll pay back your money. So when
you pay back for the car?
Yeah,
that's what you
that's
told
what
her.
I said to her. I mean, that's the only way I could convince her then to allow me to sell the car and have the store. And I said, this is almost like a do and die affair.
Because you have sold the only belonging you have.
That's it. And if it didn't happen or if I didn't make it, I know my dad would really laugh because there are days that my uncles have come to the house and they say, oh, so now that you're done with school, what are you doing? And my father would say, she's a tailor. She sells clothes, you know, and it was ridiculous.
So who were you looking up to then to tell yourself that, well, it's possible?
Okay, so the interesting thing is that I used to like really read a lot, but it was most of the brands out of Ghana. My thing was never cut like Ghanaian. It was about working the same way the brands outside were working, coming out with collections, working with mood boards. I was actually like focused on having like an international brand. And that's why I had to go local on my name. First, my name that I was using was Harmattan by Eresi, because then I wanted to have a connotation that when people heard my brand outside, they can understand she's Ghanaian or she's African. That was the first touch for me. Like I needed them to understand that.
Right, so it would seem that, I mean, the way you tell the story, it would seem that things came to you naturally.
No.
How challenging has your journey been?
Well, I would say very challenging in terms of finance, I would say. I'm the kind of person that doesn't give up easily, most especially like what I have to touch. Because I used to always say to myself, this is the only thing that has my name on it. The company, the brand is the only thing I feel has my name on it. And I could never watch it go down, ever. So for me, it's like fighting, win-win, to have it up. And for like 9 years, I've had it there amidst all the turmoil and everything losing, my financials going down, coming up. It's always about sustaining the brand. That's like my number one. And I remember at that time when I was making some money from the jobs that I was doing, I used to say to myself that it's not always going to be this rosy. I'm not always going to have my finances looking like this. So it was best that I put a lot and focus a lot in my business so that when the hard times come, I would have like something to fall back on. This was the notion with which I created the brand too. And apart from financial constraints I had from time to time, it was the issue of staff, workers. And still is the issue of workers, because I had a top-notch look for the brand. I had a certain type of finishing that I wanted on the clothes, and whenever I launched a collection, there was something that I looked out for. But it was hard to kind of relate with the workers to identify or understand what you're trying to put out there. And you even try to have mood boards to launch a collection, and you realize that they don't get the aesthetics of what you are. The tailors don't get it. And sometimes the quarrels we will have in the work area will be, oh, but it's just okay, take it like this. But you see, tailoring, craftsmanship was like the whole thing for me. And it was about bringing a detailed form of something that when my critics put it down, they can actually look at it and say, this is wrong, this is not for fashion, this is not tailored right, this finishing is bad. That was what I had to cut off. And if I had to sell to the international market, I had to be particular about finishing. And so I had to be particular about my stuff. So
how did you carry them along that journey of letting them know your dream?
What happened was I had to go in and bring the workers from Côte d'Ivoire into Ghana. And this was like very huge for me because you have to house them and you have to pay them 3 times the price you're paying your Ghanaian staff.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many of them did you bring in? It sounds expensive to me.
For starters, I brought in 2.
Okay.
But eventually I had to end up with 5. Then I blend the Ghanaian workers because I could not be in the Ghanaian terrain and not employ Ghanaians.
How did you get the money to finance that? Or you still have some money from the casting?
No, so let me tell you what happened. Along the way, I felt that now my dad's words were coming to fight me back. Because the only money I had was going and was draining quick, and I had nothing. So I had to get a side job. And then my uncle came in and had a real estate company. That was in 2014. So I thought to myself, okay, so if I have an assistant and I could go in the morning and show them everything they had to do, I could run to work and do a half day at my uncle's place.
That's really smart.
And then have my salary and bring it back in here to sustain the brand. So my uncle said, okay, no problem. I would employ you half of the day, which I did. I took the job up into real estate. I didn't do real estate. I had to learn my way. So I was in charge of procurement in the first year, and then when the houses were sold, I actually went into marketing for the next 2 years. So for 2 years, I was in charge of marketing for the real estate. And that was what gave me like a good amount of money, because for marketing, I was working by the commissions of the houses that I sold.
That was sold.
So it also put the brand on a good standing. And now I could sell in other countries, I could travel, I could move around, but with finances from the real estate.
I see. How long did you do that for?
For about 5 years.
For about 5 years.
And I ran away.
but it gave your business a good footing.
Yes, it did.
Miss Nancy, when you came out as style coach, you had been doing it on the low in Accra already, but you went to the UK for training, and then you started building the brand of Miss Nancy, the style coach. I'm not sure it was so easy for people to accept you, because then we thought we knew what we wanted already. We'll go to our seamstresses and they sew stuff for us and we are okay. Or maybe those who were a little exposed would watch on TV, and when they travel abroad and the lifestyle. What were some of the challenges that you faced doing your business of grooming in Ghana?
When you have one-on-one clients and somebody is really excited about a new life, a new self, she wants a turnaround. She probably just had a child or probably just got a promotion and management level. I mean, if you want to be great, you have to look like it. And the person comes to you confidently, you tell her what you do with her, give her the charges. She goes to discuss with her friends. And they say, when you scan up, it's all to be good. So don't you know Atari fatal? That opinion that everybody has to know about everything. The ability of people to downplay professionalism is such that somebody wants to build and wouldn't want to employ an architect or a draftsman, and they think they can do everything by themselves. It applies to us all. So everybody puts something together, so long as it fits, it's their size, they think it's okay for them to wear it. And giving people information about how to dress appropriately for their personal brands, for their images, for their chosen profession, and all becomes a bit difficult. But then, I mean, like I say, it's not a masses thing, it's a niche.
So at what point did that trend begin to change, that people started to understand what you're...
Keminni, I would not be on television and just fake it and think that everything is all right. I do have my clients, but not enough to sustain me. That's why I still have my 8 to 5 job at EIB. Maybe if it's good enough, I'd be done with 8 to 5 job and will concentrate strictly on one-on-one clients. But then one of the amazing things that has been accepted is the speaking aspect, where I get to do corporate grooming, I get to do churches, charitable organizations, and all of that. I think it's good. That aspect is good. Like one weekend you go speak and then how
do they take the message you give them? Because we have lived a certain way for a long time and being told that, look, all this while you thought red was your color, it's not your color. How do people take that?
It's not easy. I mean, at least I have for instance, if I'm doing a color analysis, it's not just with my eyes would I tell you that this shade of red is not good for you, it doesn't look kind on your skin. I have my color patches with which I would try them on you so that you would be able to know. So this is you, this is the sunlight, this is the mirror, this is the fabric. So you put it at this part of your face, you see how white your teeth is, how white your eyes are, and you look at the other part and you realize that the face is all put together, there is no significance on the part of your face, then you know this doesn't look too good. So I'm able to convince you with my technical knowledge. And for a person that comes to me, it means the person is ready for change.
And that it is what I want us to talk about when we come back. Let's find out what you should wear, what you should not wear, how you should wear what you like the most in your wardrobe. We'll be right back.
Should you rumor to me?
Tonton master, ebe Nyamanni. Keminni o madahati. Roma insecticide spray ada Roma. Interfere, entatia, mekeche ha. No way. Kemikunu. Tonton bako kra afane mo. Eno so a empusi. Roma insecticide spray and mosquito coil. Emma wo dem we sham. Roma,
Roma and Tonton Master.
Wow, my uniform looks different.
Feco spray starch, Majimo point. Rachi, pause. When you want to run amunto the morning, I feel you spray starch, papa. On particles be water, no wrinkles, smooth ironing.
Yeshon papa. Feco spray starch. Me here perfume.
Also, yes, guy. Feco spray starch.
Look sharp.
Look sharp. Look sharp.
Yena. Maketiano, why are you?
Oh!
Kum tum tum preku.
Saso.
Mwa.
Saso. Papa no, oh you saso. Yena saso.
Yes, saso. Madam, saso. What?
Saso.
Emo beyond that down. Saso. Ekum tuntum. Ni mwa saso. Kum tuntum breku.
Welcome to the PL show. We've been having a very interesting conversation with two style experts. They have been telling us how they started, the challenges they have experienced, and the strides they have made over the years. And there are a few things that we have taken note of: determination, perseverance, resilience. It's really important if you want to make it. And I'm grateful for our guests for this. If you just joined us, you meet them in a moment. The PL show is brought to you by Roma Mosquito Spray and Coil in Tonton Master, Feco Spray Starch, Look Sharp, and in fact, I'm looking very wonderful today because of one of my guests, Lifestyle Harmattan, CEO for the Harmattan brand, Immaculata Evresi Labi, and the finishing touches were done by Miss Nancy. She's the only style coach in Ghana. We'll meet her again in a moment. But Roma Mosquito Coil would like you to know their coil is smokeless. It kills and repels mosquitoes effectively and leaves your room fresh all night long. You deserve the best. Go for Roma insecticide spray and mosquito coil anytime. Roma Mosquito Coil and Spray in Tonton Master. We are filming here at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Right now, let's get into that conversation about the it. Anytime you open your wardrobe, what should be that thing that you should wear that will give you the oomph, that thing you need, the swagger, right? So let's start with the African wear. You know, there's a trend where we want to show what we've got as Africans. But sometimes we tend to wear it and it looks less formal in some of our formal settings. It looks like You just picked it up from somewhere I can't name.
Yeah.
Miss Nancy, what's the problem with how we wear African clothes?
I think the problem is the designers, the makers of the fabric. You know, when you know where a person is wearing what to, it should inspire the design. Then again, there are people that a design is made that it's supposed to be for a church or a wedding.
Oh, you've told me that before.
And the person takes it to, you know, the office just because it happens to be in the wardrobe. Because we have a lot that do not mind dressing appropriately for events.
Right.
So I love this. I mean, it's a blazer. It is nice. I could do casual with it. But if I'm taking those to the office too, it is fine. You understand? So have something in your wardrobe that you can turn around, but wear them appropriately. The designers would have to inform that atari we de tomato so the kwa sorry
Right. So Immaculata, how do you work with African prints, the wax prints we have?
Okay, so I take consideration the body types. Normally that's the first base I touch. So not every piece comes in a certain size, because some of the clothes may not look right on a certain body size. Let's say we design an apparel, we can do size 8, size 10, size 12. That's it. We don't go past to 14, 16, 18, 22. People will think, why are you being biased? But no, we also design other pieces for 14, 16, 22 because the body types differ. Your body type is different from my body type. If I wear an apparel today, you can say, oh look, I like what Immaculata wore. Can you make the same thing? But no, I cannot make the same thing because it will look different on you. It might not even look right on you. And that is sometimes the issue we have with clients, especially when it's ready to wear, it's not difficult. But when it's cut from maybe weddings or event, they say, okay, look, I want this type for my bridesmaids. And these bridesmaids are different body types. But one dress for all of the bridesmaids. Sometimes what I do is I sit with them, I say, oh well, so the size 8 will be here, size 10, 12, 14 here. This is what we can do for 10, 12, 14. This is what we can do for 8 and 10. Are you okay? They say no. I said, well, I can do this. Because this is what will happen. This is my brand. If I put my labels and my tags in the apparel, people will ask, who made these pieces? I could sit sometimes by the TV and say, who made these pieces? These are not good. So I feel like my critics are sitting out there. And once they know I made the piece and it doesn't work right with the body type, it's bad for my brand.
Okay.
So I would not compromise with the brand because of money. How many years in the business to money?
So as a designer, what do you then do with some of the fabric? Because I've seen like what Miss Nancy is wearing. It's a nice combination of, you know, the African
So the issue
printed.
is motifs.
Does that work?
The issue, yes. The African prints come in motifs. More especially with what we have in Ghana. Most of them are bright.
Very.
You have to even watch which people you're designing for. Skin tones, they even differ and they affect fabric. If you look at what Miss Nancy is wearing, these tones are down. Yes. And they can go to certain places that would be official. But when you go for the bright tones, you have to watch where you're taking them to cocktails, you know, parties, afternoon, lunch, you know, it's okay. So if you're trying to play with the African fabric, watch the motifs. And sometimes there are some motifs in the fabrics that you are not able to cut for them to coordinate. If you play with them, you see the patches are lying unevenly. But a work that is done well should have the pattern even.
Right.
If the same pattern is here, the same pattern has to reflect here evenly till the end.
I see.
All right. So, Keminni, you wanted to use my blazer as an example. I would wear this. I usually do not like prints because technically prints make you look bigger. But then I am looking at where the prints are given, where it ends. So my upper body is being slimmed down. Wherever there is a plain color, it gives you an illusion of, slenderness. So it makes me look petite. And so you see that this part has been designed just to get the attention on the sleeve. Okay. So my arms are not looking, because if this print had come all the way here, this design had come all the way here, it would have been so bloated. You understand? And this design is actually allowing you to see through, to know that, okay, there's a box jacket, but it's not a woman that is big. It's the style, and that you can see her body somehow in there. So you should know where to put the plains and the prints.
So in simple terms, just use some body shapes to educate us on where you should accentuate and where you should cover up a little?
Okay, so I mean, every woman all over the world, we desire the full hourglass figure where the bust of a woman, the hip size of a woman, shoulder size of a woman should be same length, and the waist should be thin. That is how we all want to look like. So if for any reason you don't have that kind of figure, you use your clothing, the designs that you choose to create that illusion. So for instance, if your upper body is big and your lower body is small, you would want to create that proportional balance by giving volume to your lower body. And so if the lower body is smaller, you give it the skirt, which is probably a gathered skirt, a skater, or anything with volume. So you don't put bodycon clothing at a place where you know it's small, it will still minimize it. So you put lots of volume, lots of fabric, the patterns, the busy fabrics at the lower part, and you probably put the plain fabrics at the upper part. That way it would create that illusion of a smaller upper size, minimize the bigness of your bust, your upper size, and give you that kind of proportion. So the proportion is that the bust, the hip line is same, and then the waist is smaller.
Right. You see why I say she's the only style coach in Ghana. If you want more of that, you'd have to reach her on Instagram. So let's hear from you, your final words. And Ima, I'll start with you. You've been in the business the last 9 years, almost 10. There are young people out there. Fashion is a thing now. A lot of young people. In fact, my niece, who is only 16, has started attending fashion school. Wow. I don't know why, really, but she seems to, love the whole idea about fashion. So, for young people who are watching you now and want to learn a few things, what would you say to them?
Okay, so the first thing is read wide. I did a lot of that. And I would also like to say that fashion is not only about sewing. I used to tell my teacher that after the university I took a fashion course, and I used to tell my teacher that I'm not going to be sewing. You won't find me behind the machine. But I had to learn how to sew in order to correct my stuff, but not to sit, because my time wasn't made to sit. And there are a lot of careers that people can actually delve into when it comes to fashion, even illustration, which is in layman's term drawing the designs for the runway or the pieces that have to be launched. People can just look at that. Those who have expert knowledge with, they are talented, can look into illustration and be part of a fashion team. Right. Then we can have the stylist, and in the fashion, house or with the fashion brand. Then now we have the tailors, and then we have the creative directors who are only working with the mood board and the color coordination and what has to be launched with regards to the pieces. So what I would like to say to the young people out there, focus on what your talent is, if you're interested in the fashion business, and then work with it.
Right, right. Miss Nancy, what will be your final words to our viewers today who are so in love with you right now?
Yes, so I am sure that people should know their body shapes and what works for them. There is so much information on the internet, but then of course you need customized information that works for you too. Keminni, one more thing, I see a lot of Ghanaian girls having very cluttered appearances. Cluttered because when they are putting themselves together, they don't know what is the statement they are putting across. So Keminni, if a woman wants to be a bit sensual in her appearance, like a knight, you show a bit of skin at the upper part. If you are doing the upper part, you need to cover the lower part of your body. If you are showing arms, you show arms, you show legs, you cover the rest of your body. If your back is so low, you cover the front, so that you call attention to just one part of your body. So I choose to wear a long covering dress, and I bring the slit up here so that all attention would be on my $1 million legs. So you don't slit it up, put the back down, show your cleavage, everything at once.
That's too
much. Is not classy. It is trashy. We need to mind that.
Oh, pun intended, by the way. Pun intended. It is not classy. It is trashy. Now, if you want to hear more from these ladies, you find them on Instagram. Miss Nancy, the style coach. Is that the handle?
Miss Nancy, MS_Nancy, style coach.
Style coach. You find her there. And then Lifestyle Harmattan. At Lifestyle Harmattan is also there. You have that wedding coming up or attending that wedding. Here's what you should know when it comes to wedding and makeup in #trending.
Wena, it's such a pleasure to see you again. When was the last time I saw you?
About 2 years ago.
For a shoot.
For a shoot. That was almost 2 years.
Anyway, how have you been?
I've been great. You look
thank you.
blazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you look
beautiful.
lovely as well.
Thank you.
So makeup.
Yes.
When did you start?
I've always been a lover of makeup for a long time. But the business side actually came about when I put on makeup. People ask me, you know, you look nice, are you a makeup artist? And this. So I started doing it, you know, not as a business, you know, but then with time, I just realized that it's something that I can do, I can monetize. So business started.
And you are here 4 years?
4 years.
All right. What do you seek to achieve when you pick up the brush to work on a client?
When I pick my brushes or a client sits in front of me, automatically I'm thinking about the client as myself. She wants to get out fast and she wants to look close to herself as possible but look beautiful. So when somebody sits in my chair, I seek to enhance the natural features of the person, you know, ultimately just to empower the woman to show up 100%, looking her best, and empower her to achieve more.
Now to our main conversation.
Yes.
Bridal makeup is such a big deal these days. What is causing the interest?
We are living in a moment where, as more than ever, information is readily available. Somebody can be in Moscow, Antarctica, and thinks about something and puts it online, and it's everywhere instantly within that second. The tutorials and everything, you can pretty much learn how to do it. So everybody who can do or think they can apply makeup, you know, want to make some money out of it. And also in Ghana, you know, we have some 1-day classes, 2-day classes, 3-day classes, and then once you take a couple of what you learn on YouTube, you think you are a makeup artist, but it takes a whole lot more than that.
How do you make the bride stand out from the rest of the bridal party?
It's very important that on the big day, as a makeup artist, I did mention earlier that we're not just artists, but we're like a therapist. A lot of things, you know, happen on that day. People are calling in, things are not going well, decor. The bride tends to freak out. But to make her stand out means to make her relax, to make her calm down, you know. But beyond that, when it comes to the makeup, you want to make sure that throughout the day, her makeup is intact. You know, if she's dancing, the makeup is not bleeding. And it all depends on your preparation, how you prep the skin before you put makeup on it. It's very important. You have to moisturize the skin properly. Even before the day, you have to advise or encourage the bride to take good care of her skin, because whatever happens, whether she drinks a lot of water, she rests, all of that will reflect in her standing out on the day. So as a makeup artist, to make your bride stand out, you have to make sure that she rests, you know, she does her skincare, her facials and all that. And on the day, make sure that you use very good products. You moisturize the skin, you prep her skin properly so that you can do her makeup to be long wearing. The trial actually happens or should happen prior to the big day. It depends on the availability of the artist and the availability of the client. What happens during the trial is when you get to assess the needs of the clients. You get to do shade matching. You get to do the look as it would have been done on the day. And if there's anything she doesn't like, it will be that time that she'll tell you, I don't like it like this, I don't like it like that, I don't like it like this, I don't like it like that. And sometimes so you could let her use the trial for her pre-wedding shoots, and it gives her the opportunity to see how the makeup would look during her wedding. So the trial is very important.
What would you say are some of the challenges when it comes to bridal makeup?
There are some brides that are very indecisive. very extremely indecisive. Even after the trial, on the day of the wedding, they're still coming up with ideas, they're still coming up with things, they're still even coming up with new people, you know, like so much. And all of that, it's about energy, you know, it's about energy. That is where, as a makeup artist, you need to be extremely patient. You know, you need to be emotionally intelligent. You know, your social skills and people skills and emotional skills really come to play. Because if you make a mistake and consume any of those challenges on that day, it changed the entire atmosphere.
In your field and many other fields, it is sometimes believed that women are in competition with each other. How do you replace competition with collaboration?
I believe two heads are better than one. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Where I am weak, I'll look for somebody who is strong. You know, we all play to our strength. It's very important. It's like creating a mastermind. My bride today is actually another makeup artist. She has been around way longer than me. But I tell her all the time, you're beautiful, you have amazing features, you know. And because she saw the importance of collaboration, she allowed herself be my model for today. You see that she looks gorgeous. She's also another makeup artist, you understand? But then she didn't see me as a competition, but she saw it as a collaboration. And when two powerhouses or two strengths come together, you create nothing but fireworks. And that's all I'm for. Collaboration over competition any day.
Two heads indeed are better than one. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another incredible edition of #Trending. Special thank you going out to Hair Me Up for my gorgeous hair. Just get on my Instagram page, Ellie_Caris, for all the information. My name is Ellie Caris. Thanks for watching once again.
Thank you very much, Ellie, for bringing us that information about wedding makeup. Now we know what to do when we are attending that wedding or when we happen to be the bride. That'll be all for today's show. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you to all our guests who passed through, Immaculata, who dressed me up, and Miss Nancy, who put up the finishing touches. In fact, she asked me to put on the new shoes. I know you can't see it, but yeah, she did. Thank you very much for your time here on the PL Show. The PL Show is brought to you by Roma Mosquito Spray and Call in Tuntum Master, Feco Spray Starch, Look Sharp. We're filming here at the Labadi Beach Hotel, and our centerpiece, beautiful centerpiece, think Emmy's Interior Decor. Thank you very much, Emmy's, for this wonderful centerpiece that is saving the environment, and thank you too for joining us. We'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.